Are the New York Jets being used as leverage by another Minnesota Vikings free agent? That may just be the case. I'm Glenn Naughton with JetNation Radio and JetNation.com. Be sure to log into JetNation.com where you can register and become a part of what is the most active Jets message board on the web. So Dalvin Cook, free agent running back, whom the New York Jets are interested in. They've made it clear. Robert Saleh was asked several weeks ago, do you guys have any interest in Dalvin Cook? And he said, we'll take a look at that. And then he was asked again recently, and he said, well, some contractual things have to be worked out. Translation, he's got to take less money, or he's asking for too much money. So the Jets clearly interested, Cook clearly interested. The team and player have not come to terms, but Cook is coming into New York this weekend to meet with the Jets. All good news. However, Cook, and I won't sit here and say this never happens. I will just say I don't recall it happening anytime in the recent past anyway. Dalvin Cook goes on Good Morning Football, national television, to say that to preview his visit with the Jets and talk about his free agency. And a day or two before he's set to go in with the Jets, he says, they say, how do you like your chances of being a Jet? He says, I feel good about it. I think he says it's pretty good chance right now that I'll become a New York Jet. Okay, great. What about the Dolphins? Well, that's his home team. He said several weeks ago that the Miami Dolphins would be his perfect fit. When asked about the Dolphins on Good Morning Football, he said that would be, this thing is still ongoing. I haven't made up my mind. So he's making it clear that all options are still open. And he says Miami would be my Cinderella story. That's a pretty, put it this way. Anytime it comes to free agency, things like this, I look at it like relationships in what people say. Put yourself in that situation. Imagine there's somebody you like, somebody you'd love to date. And they say, you know what? I think I could see myself dating you. However, your neighbor, that'd be my Cinderella story. Like that would be the pinnacle. You, all right, if your neighbor says no, then we can give it a shot. And maybe that's where the Jets and Dolphins are with Dalvin Cook right now. Miami is the preferred destination for Dalvin Cook. And I'm sure that for every second he's in the facility with the Jets, he will have his phone on waiting for his agent to call and say Miami just upped their offer. And that's what this really felt like, Cook going on television to say, I'm meeting with the Jets this weekend, and there's a good chance I'm going to sign with them. That's along the lines of, for those of you who recall, when the Jets were talking to Derek Carr. There were a lot of reports that said Carr wanted to be a Jet. The night before he signed with the Saints, there was a story leaked by his agent saying, Derek is prepared to sign with the Saints tomorrow or something along those lines. It was a flare. He was shooting up a flare to let the Jets know, we haven't had an offer from you. We're going to sign with this team tomorrow if you don't make a move. This feels like what Dalvin Cook is doing to the Dolphins. Hey, Miami, I've already gone out and publicly said that you are my perfect destination. I am now saying the day before or 2 days before I'm meeting with the New York Jets, I'm saying that you are my Cinderella story. You're my home team, backyard, great weather. That's where I want to be, but I feel like it's going to be the Jets because you're not making a significant enough offer. So this is Miami's chance to say, how bad do we want this guy? He's going to be in the building at One Jets Drive tomorrow. If we don't make a move, he might sign with the Jets. And the Jets may end up with Dalvin Cook. And it would make their running back room better. There is no doubt. But me personally, I like the room they have. It's not a knock on Dalvin Cook. I obviously love Breece Hall. I was a huge Izzy Abanikanda guy. I think Michael Carter, especially I said recently, I went back and watched some North Carolina games to get a look at, Chaz Surratt, but watching Michael Carter, you kind of remember, he's an elusive guy. As we know, catches the ball out of the backfield, runs between the tackles, has enough to get the edge. Like, was he bad last year? You can make that case, but the whole offense was a disaster. So, you're not going to pin that on one guy. So I feel like with the backs, even Travis Dye, he's unlikely to make the roster, but I think he'll be a practice squad type. And maybe he does beat out Bam Knight. And I like Bam. Bam was a UDFA who I said before the draft the Jets should consider as a day 3 pick. He runs with power. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's a return man. Dye is a guy who can run it, catch it. He can block for you. He can do a little bit of everything, do it well, kind of in the mold of Bilal Powell. So they have some guys who, with Aaron Rodgers and this group of receivers, I think these backs, especially, a lot of this is going to depend on the health of the O-line. But if this O-line is healthy, there's no reason the Jets can't win football games with this backfield. However, they've been talking with or speaking to and about Cook since he was let go by the Vikings, and they obviously they have an interest there, he will come in. So the feeling you get is that whether or not Dalvin Cook signs with the Jets is going to come down to what the Miami Dolphins do. It's sort of the Dolphins are deciding his fate because he's either going to be a Jet, and this is just, based on what we're hearing, the odds-on favorite now, they're, gambling sites are putting the Jets down as the favorite. Cook himself is saying he feels like there's a good chance he signs with the Jets, which I'm not doubting there's a good chance he signs with the Jets. I'm just saying that I think that good chance lies in the fact that the Dolphins have had this much time to up their offer to him, and they haven't. So here is his one final warning to the Dolphins. Like, look, I can't make it any clearer that that's where I want to be. But if you don't make a move, I'm going to be a Jet. And now how do the Jets feel about that? And I should say the Jets running backs. I don't know if you saw this yesterday. Breece Hall deleted a couple of tweets that were a little bit cryptic. I saw them and thought to myself, I don't know if this is about Dalvin Cook or if this is about Sean Payton, the Bountygate head coach. Because Bountygate was trashing the Jets and some Jets players were reacting to it. And at the same time, we were seeing stories about the Cook visit. So Breece Hall tweets out shrugging shoulders emoji. He tweets out LOL. So is he laughing at the fact that the Jets are bringing in not just not a guy who's viewed as a backup running back. He will be. Once Hall is healthy, you expect Cook to be the backup. But he's not a backup. He's a starting caliber guy. So is Breece Hall upset, saying like, "What are you doing? Why are you bringing in a feature back when I'm putting in the work that I'm putting in and I'm as healthy as I am, ready to go?" And is it LOLing at the fact that you think you're gonna replace me with this guy? Which I don't think the Jets are. That's not what's going on here. They are building a deeper running back room. I understand that, but but again, entirely possible. Well, my thought yesterday was that it's possible. This is him laughing at Coach Bountygate. Shrugging his shoulders, like, why is Coach Bountygate saying this stuff? But then those tweets were deleted as the Cook news, heated up a little bit. So is this somebody in his camp saying, look, man, this guy's about to be your teammate. Let's not have any, positive vibes only. Let's not have any negative tweets or animosity toward a guy who's just doing his job and coming into work. So Breece Hall deletes the tweets. Cook makes it clear he wants Miami, but might sign with the Jets. So we'll see what happens. Sometime in the next 24, 48 hours, I would imagine he will have his meeting with the Jets. And the Jets, if they're as close as some are saying in their negotiations, only $1 million or so apart, I would expect them to close that gap while he's in the building if he passes the physical. So if that phone doesn't ring and the Miami Dolphins don't make a better offer, I expect him to sign. And listen, all that means to me is those 2 games a year when you play the Dolphins, Dalvin Cook's going to have a little bit of extra juice. It's going to be one of those things where you're my hometown team, wanted to play for you, told you publicly I wanted to play for you, and you didn't think enough of me to match what the Jets were willing to give, so now I got to make you pay for it. That little bit of, those revenge games that we all love so much. So it could end up paying off big time for the Jets in the future. But is Dalvin Cook going to walk in there, have a little meeting, and then say, guys, sorry, agent just called, Miami upped their offer by $1 million. Take care. I'm going to Miami, and walk out the door. Another Anthony Barr situation. So we will see. Again, expect something in the next 24, 48 hours for him to sign somewhere. If he just visits and walks out, then I think it's clearer than ever that the Jets are just being used as leverage. So we'll see. Could be a leverage play. Could be a New York Jet in the next couple days, in which case the Jets will have one of the most talented backfields in the NFL. More to come. Have a good one, Jets fans.